Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Spazoid21. Welcome back to another episode of... I'm just checking the settings to make sure the audio's all good, because we've had some audio issues through this whole episode. Even this recorded audio as I do it right now. I'll be honest with you. This was not the greatest recording of my life, but here we are. So, last off, we left off where I kind of got dropped off by that double spy who, I forgot his name, who looks like a sloth with no face, and stuff. So, I'm checking the doors now, just making sure everything, like, I didn't miss a secret or anything. I'm gonna be real, I didn't even fucking, check that shit. So, I recorded this episode, and once I finished, the audio fucked up, and so what I recorded was nothing, no commentary, but the gameplay, perfectly fine. It's kind of fucking annoying, honestly. So, it wasn't my full intentions to do a commentary over the video, but so much happened, and I just don't want to redo all the work we did. I don't want to... I missed something on the floor. Completely ignore that. So we're going through this facility, you know, to keep an eye on the children. They'll go we're kind of leaving off where we kind of left off where we began, but I just thought we'd start from the last checkpoint. So yeah, just gonna be eating my commentary. I kind of explore, and I'm kind of looking for a VHS tape, but to be honest with you, I didn't fucking find it. It's kind of weird, like, watching my footage back and then just commentating over it. I really don't like doing that. But I've had so many fucking audio issues and stuff, and I just went, I really don't have time to, like, redo the whole thing, even though I'm kind of redoing the whole thing. It's just, I don't want to redo it again and be like, oh, first reaction and shit. No, you're just gonna get my just try to be genuine as hell. So, yeah. I think that's you don't even see it, but I think that's the other one that, was there. It's the book that says Jeth Sons by, and the Pumpkin King, Pumpkin Lord, excuse me. So, yeah, it's kind of like, it was kind of interesting, like, seeing that, oh, it's basically a lab and stuff. I'll be honest with you, right? I'm exploring, kind of like, ooh. You know, when I was kind of looking, I was like, they turn off my flashlight, and I'm like, if I get jump scared, I'm gonna be pissed. There are no jump scares in this. I don't know why I said that, like, 3 minutes in. There's no jump scare, guys. For me, at least. For you, you don't know. So, I'm just exploring, and then I'm like, let me check every door before I just go down the one, because you never know, like, exploration reasons. So, this episode, I kept saying, like, I really just kept saying, like, this was not a great, so, yeah, so I'm kind of trying to figure out shit. I say, oh, it's her hair from the girl, yeah, that girl on the wall. And then there's this battery thing, which I couldn't pick up or anything, and I was like, I'll be honest with you, I don't even like these batteries. So I'm kind of just getting my bearings. Don't even get to see the thing. There's this, glue and stuff, but it's like, oh, there's a hand, a yellow hand. How many hands we've had? We've had orange, red, blue, purple, green, admin red, steampunk, and now yellow. And then I'm like, okay, we'll switch to my red hand, which I kind of forget we actually fucking have and shit. But, you know, whatever. I remember saying that, I'm like, if I have to do this during, I said this, if I have to do this during a fucking boss fight, I'm gonna be pissed. I already don't like this concept of the battery having to be dragged over and stuff, but we're just gonna let it go. So we get a new hand. It's the weather controlling hand. It does electricity, ice, and fire. Be honest with you, it was just kind of like, okay, so I freeze, and then I got the blue lines going. I kind of like that they give us a new hand. So it freezes, and then you can use the steampunk hand. I'm gonna call it the steampunk hand because that's what I've been calling it. I really gotta. So I get the heat, and then I'm like thinking, do I burn the stuff? No. There's also a time limit of how long it actually like goes for, and so you burn her hair, right? That's gonna come later and stuff. I'm trying to do this without spoiling the fucking thing. So now we have to do electricity. So there's a door. Gotta figure out the. I'm trying to figure out the puzzle, but also I'm just kind of like. I'm just trying to keep my eyes out for shit. All right, we're gonna freeze that. Blow that shit sky high. Because I think, oh, there's something behind it that I can use. Shocker. There's nothing. And then I'm like, okay. So I'm like trying to figure out this puzzle and I don't understand it. And then I'm like, oh, the thing. So I learned how to use the electricity, which they changed the electricity. So I'm like, okay, so it doesn't, I'm thinking it's the, I grab it and then I can use it, my arms as a power line. So that one's good. And I'm like trying to think, what the fuck did I do wrong? But lo and behold, yeah, it's just not making the same animation and it's still green. So I'm like, am I doing something wrong? And I take a little bit to figure this out because I was just kind of like, I'll be honest with you, I was just kind of uncomfortable making this whole episode. Just straight up. And then I'm like, oh, a third door. Yeah, that's the bitch. Imagine being a toy, making an action figure, and you look like the most human out of all of them. I did make that comment, so I'll make it again. I'm like trying to sit there, I'm like, what else did I say? I'm like, yeah, I'll say that we're like 7 minutes in. Alright, I'm gonna say this one time. This was not a good time to play this game when I just did another deep dive of the Epstein files and shit. Because there's a lot of similarities that I saw in the files. Also here. I don't even know why I was like, oh, do I even have the red door? Like a dumbass. But, you know, I'm getting the hang of it, but I'm also like very cautious of going out and stuff because I don't know if I'm gonna be attacked or not. So it's the thing from the trailer. Insert disc 1. So you obviously see the disc on the floor that I didn't see. And there's 3 terminals. You gotta do some disc shit. And then there's a piece of paper, right? And you know, there's a keypad. And I do the 8080852 and stuff. Yeah, you see that I don't even get the first memory chip. And so I was like, okay, I'm going through looking through the files and stuff that I have. This was like the stuff that navigation compound stuff. I was like, oh, that must be the stuff that we got to beat the stupid prototype. And this is a letter to the prototype. Prototype wrote a letter to Lily, and I didn't really. I was just kind of like, I kind of just went, that's some whack ass handwriting and stuff. So I go. I'm just checking doors that are open now, and then I'm like, oh, I can go over. I try to just shoot my arm, and this is where I say, if I get jump scared going through that shit, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm not even gonna be scared. This game stopped being scary and stuff, to be honest. But I still really enjoy it. I'm also eating dinner while I'm recording this because I'm low on time. So I'm very cautious being in this type of area because, you know, in previous episodes of playing this game, this was where I went, if I come out and I see some shit, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. My whole like thing was I'm gonna be in a room with a fucking toy that wants to kill me, and I don't know where. So I'm going through these doors. I'm hitting the zappy things. You know, I'm checking doors and stuff. This is really funny. Um, there's a catnap themed door. These are, and then I'm like, ooh. So you hear the sound where it's like it makes a clank sound if you do it wrong, like that. That good sound. And then I realize this. I generally just brute force this fucking door, and then I'm like, I don't know the last one, and then I hit the thing and it opens. I was like, yo, and then I sat down. I'm like, and then I found a VHS tape, and I was like, I don't want to go anywhere else. I found out this is just a bonus area, right, and stuff, but I completely missed the TV though. I'm like, this is where I was kind of uncomfortable because once I saw the chair and stuff, I was like, oh, torture room, indoctrination, brainwashing, whatever, and stuff. I was just kind of like, I was just uncomfortable, and I was like, if I run and there's something there, I'm gonna be, like I said, pissed. But I was really proud. I was like, close the door. I don't. That whole area creeped me out. Like I said, I just kind of creeped out, but I was really impressed that I got the door fucking thing. I just brute forced the door. Then there's these there's her. I'm gonna be real with you. I was just kind of sitting there like roasting her outfit. I was like, the silk scarf doesn't go with that outfit, right? It just looks off. It's like, yeah. So I'm seeing this like I'm trying to figure this out, right? And then I'm like, okay, you know, I'm thinking, oh, I keep when they changed the how you do electricity, right? You don't do it through the wires anymore. And so I'm like thinking, oh, if I zap that, you know, it already has power. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure this out. Which I kind of just went like, oh, there's a room. Can I grab it? Yeah, I can grab it. And then I'm like, do I grab this? Do I grab this? Because I'm trying to complete a full circuit. Because that's what we were taught how to fucking do in this damn game. And then I was like trying to like see like, I was like, okay, yeah, we'll get to her later. I was just kind of like, okay. I was trying to figure it out. It didn't really click on me that I needed to just hit the green hand on the wall and stuff. And I was like thinking, I was like, what am I supposed to be going back and stuff? And I was like thinking, am I missing something? This is like, because it's like I got the VHS tape when I wasn't, well, when you weren't really supposed to, I guess. Yeah. I was mostly just creeped out. I was like, what the fuck am I looking for? I was really confused. So that's the that's Huggy. That's the experiment 1170. It's Huggy. And I thought he was talking when the prototype was talking about it. I thought he was talking about me. I said that last episode. I'm like, is that what I'm called to him? The answer is no. I don't even have a fucking name, not that I know of. So I go in here and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I look at the floor and I'm like, oh, a chip. And so I insert it. Then the machine's on. And I thought this was supposed to be I get transformed into a toy and shit, which I was half right, but not in the way I was thinking, right? I was mostly thinking, damn. And then I was just like, we're doing Windows 98. Actually, it's not even Windows. It's like a weird Linux. So you're basically, if you didn't read the tape, you are experiment 1170, which is Huggy Wuggy, which is really cool. I really like this, I think. But this is where I get
You're going to make the friends so happy.
So I'm actually Huggy.
Today, we are going to play a game called Cleaning
The fact that I don't have disposable, like, independent fingers was really fucking weird.
The blocks into the correct hole. And for those naughty blocks that don't
Yeah, so I'm doing this exercise shit,
you can
and I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to get the hang of being fucking 10 feet tall with fucking long arms. So I pick up the square, right? Watch this. I grab the triangle, right? And then I go to put it in, and they switch it to yellow, and I get zapped again. I was like... I'm trying to, like, be... Okay, so I'm like, there's triangles. I pick up the wrong thing. I can't... And then I can't drop it. And I'm like, how do I fucking get rid of this shit? And the recycle bin doesn't look open. I hated this. This was so fucking annoying. So I pick up this triangle, right? And then when I put it in, I get one right. And then I pick up the triangle again, it turns yellow, and I get zapped. It was so fucking annoying. And then I was like, yellow. And then I was like, oh, let me put it in. And I was like, all I have is squares, but I So I'm like, I don't know what to do with this shit. And then I'm looking around, and I'm like, there's no other shapes. And then I look, I'm like, oh, I get fucked over again. Okay. And then I ran out of time.
Very good, Huggy.
And
You're doing so
I said, what the fuck do you mean I'm doing great? I got zapped 3 times. A little harder. I really don't like this chick. But she did a great job acting. But I really just complained about her the whole time. This is where I got fucked over. I'm like, oh yeah, green. And then I go over to put it in, and it changes color. And I'm like, okay, it changed back. And then I grab the other color. And I'm like, yes! And then I'm like... And then green again. And then I get in. And then, yeah, he has... His hands are weird, I'm gonna be real. But it acts like the same controls. So... I was getting annoyed with, like, how much... Like, I know this motherfucker can reach. We know, because he ripped off my fucking arm last episode. Yeah, so he's really not happy and stuff. See, you saw that! You saw that shit where it turned fucking... It turned fucking green as soon as I went to put it in. Because Huggy's arms are slow as fuck. I'm like, boom. Yeah, you saw that where I almost got zapped. That shit was fucking annoying. So... And then I'm sitting there, I'm like... I was getting really fucking annoyed. This is... I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this shit anymore. You know? They threw in like... There was like a point where I'm like, I was getting fucking angry and shit. And I was like, I don't even like doing this shit. And then I started getting angry and I'm like, yo, can I start fucking up shit? And I was like, I'm still angry and stuff. And I just started putting stuff in and I was like, fuck that shit! Let me out!
You don't have to be angry, Huggy.
Started to break the fucking TV.
Now, let's all practice our breathing. In.
I was like, let me out. Can I escape? And then they started fucking putting the smoke in the room, and I'm like, fuck! So I just started breaking everything. Because you can do that. So I fuck this shit! You know? But he's like way fucking stronger than he was. With that. I was low-key... Excuse me. I was low-key fucking disturbed. And I was like thinking, oh, no keypad. And then I'm like, I was like still confused where the fuck to go. And then I was looking, I was like, oh yeah, the phone number. It's 597740. if I remember correctly. Anyways, I'm kind of like, I'm like, I guess I gotta go back and find that shit. So, flashlight was ass and stuff. There's a lot of times where I'm just like, I'm overthinking the fucking solution when it's so simple. So I come back here, right? And I'm like, okay. This is where I'm like, so if I do that, right? And I still try to do the same thing because, believe it or not, this game has done I would say a disservice. But I was sitting there like, if I hook it up to that, I was like, nothing's working, right? And then I had this bolt, and I was like, door's locked. I was getting kind of frustrated. I was like, I'm trying to think of how we usually do the electrical problems, even though they just said, didn't they just teach you to do a new method? And then I go in here, right? And I'm like thinking, maybe I'm just like not looking at it. And then I'm like, oh, a TV. A TV. Yeah. And I was looking, I was like, a vent? And then I was like, ooh, a TV. And then I put the VHS in there. And then you get to watch Experiment 117, which is Huggy Wuggy. You get to see his cell DNA of how he like formed and shit. Cool. Which I thought was very fascinating. And then I was like, what the fuck is that? You know? Yeah, that's him strapped down. And I started really hating the scientists and stuff. Look how promising I look. It's like I get... And then, under stress. And then he, Kissy Missy seems to be a thing that calms him down. So, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, missing footage because, he killed some people. I was like, yo, I should be able to lift those handles up because those look like lifting handles. But that'll be done later. I go through every door. You know, I turn my flashlight on. Yeah, and then I'm like, now I have to run back because, you know, we know how this game is. They've done the hallway shit to us. We're on like the 5th chapter of this game. So I've seen, I haven't seen any gameplay, right? But I've seen some lengths of the videos and they're like 3 hours long. This is when I was like sitting there, I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Right, so I got kind of lost here. I would have edited this out, but I was just like, but now I have the commentary like fucked up and shit, so now we can't. It's gonna be okay. I'm like sitting there like thinking, what? I'm like sitting there like, no, there has to be something in this fucking room. And I was like, this is where like the light bulb went off, and I was like, it showed lightning. And then I go to the middle room, and I try to do it again. Right? It didn't really work. So then I come with this genius idea of, let me get my other hand back. And then, no, I had to switch back. I go that, and then I just go, what if I go to the other one and zap it? I was like, that already has power. I was like, let's just go zap this one. And then it goes out, and I'm like, fuck! Yeah, so I continue on, and then, boom! Power on. And then I'm like, said, it's catnap fake sleeping. And I was like,
Oh, hey there, wonderful.
this is where I kept complaining that I was creeped the fuck out by her.
But I am sleepy. When I don't get my beauty sleep, I turn into a big old grumpy bum. Everyone does if they don't get enough sleep.
I was just kind of like,
Come on,
I was like, you can get enough sleep and be grumpy.
take a nap together, okay? Close our eyes and count sheep.
And then I said, isn't that the sheep I killed?
Baba's gonna help us.
So
1,
I was sitting there, and I said, I'll say it again, because you didn't hear me the first time.
I bet having soft wool like Baba Chops feels
I said this is like some brainwashing dumbass bullshit, and I don't be a toy.
toys never get crinked. They're full of
And I said that's fucking bullshit.
go to sleep.
And then I was just kind of like,
Maybe
you know, you see they're strapped to that chair and stuff, and then they're forced to watch it.
being a
And I was like, this is some propaganda bullshit.
being a
But I was watching it because I was like, I don't know what else to do.
paradise.
Right?
Go to
See, she's acting and stuff. No hate on the actor, right? Did a great job. But the way she talks and stuff is someone who's just being manipulative. That's what all I hear from her. And I get just very irritated when I'm hearing her being like, trying to be all act like she's nice and shit. When I could hear in her voice, she doesn't fucking care. It's not real. I don't know, she's talking to me like I'm a fucking child and shit. I'm like, and then that's where it really clicked in. I'm like, this is just brainwashing for the fucking kids. And I almost got out of my chair and threw shit. Excuse me. I was triggered as fuck. And then I was like sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck was that shit? I'm like, look at this. I'm like, can I break this? And I'm like, oh no, I broke it. And then I said, that looks like a sinister symbol. You know, I don't know if it exactly was. And then I'm like looking around, I'm like, what the fuck? And then so there was nothing there, and I was like, okay, I got that done. I was kind of creeped out, and I went. So I was looking, I was like, is there another one I have to watch? Now, you guessed it, this is the indoctrination area. And stuff, and I was just kind of like creeped the fuck out. And then I was like, oh, the doors are opening. And then I was like, oh, it's not opening. Not opening. Right? So I'm in, and I'm like thinking, is there like the thing I need? And then I was like, oh, I need to turn on the power. So I run back to go get the power. You know, just keeping my bearings around because, you know, I don't know what fucking toys are around here. And then I'm like sprinting. You know? But like, I wasn't having a bad time with the gameplay. I just think it was just like poor timing to just look at nasty shit on the internet and then just see the comparison to this game. And then she comes back.
Hey there, wonderful.
And we,
Do you want to feel comfortable?
no,
Do you want to feel
no.
Let's give ourselves a big hug.
And I was just like, what the fuck was that?
How did that
I said,
feel?
nothing, because it's fucking stupid.
Squishy, right? All that meat, bone, yuck.
It kind of got,
Nicer to be made of felt.
I kind of got mad.
Let's hug our huggy and kissy toys. Don't they feel so soft?
This is where I was just kind of like really bitching about the whole film. I really hate that I have to like skip. There's a part where I snapped during the Let's Play too. And I was like sitting there, I'm like, I'm just gonna upload it because I think people need to know how fucking annoying this shit is. Yeah, so this is where I was just like, this is the brainwashing bullshit. They're trying to convince you you're a toy. And I was just kind of sitting there. I was kind of sitting there thinking like, toys? I was kind of sitting there, right, as she was talking. And, you know, she's like, I was like, how hard?
Pop their heads off.
Oh my god. I'm getting pissed off now.
Soft like huggy
And then I was like, ooh, cool kaleidoscope effect.
Let's be toys. Let's be soft. Let's be toys.
So this is where I really just went off, just and I said, this is some fucking brainwashing shit. I said, how hard is it to convince a fucking 5-year-old that being a toy is cool? Like, it's as easy as saying, hey, do you want to be Batman? and they have like no like realistic thinking of that shit. And I was like, this is the torture chamber. Yeah. And then I'm sitting there waiting, and I'm like, is this the one where it cuts off? Yeah, it's the one that cuts off. There's one that just goes on forever, and I was like, get me out of here. And then, you know, that door's locked, but the light's on, so now this door's open. And then I'm like, okay, where's the projector? And I'm like, okay, let me go and run. Keeping my bearings. Keeping my bearings, because I was like, I was just bitching. I was like, how fucking hard is it to convince a kid to be a toy? And stuff. And then I was just like, well, maybe they saw the side effects, and then they had to be like brainwashed to be like, oh, you'll be a toy. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, so then I'm like thinking we're gonna get another bullshit video. Spoiler alert, this just goes on forever and stuff. There's no anything. I wholeheartedly believe Kissy Missy was only made for Huggy Wuggy. Like, I know they made it like, oh, a girl one can have one, a guy can have one. But like, I feel like they made a bigger one for Huggy because he was like a fucking psycho. And then I'm like, oh, the heat thing. And I had the right hand. I just like was not used to it. Then I'm like, oh, let me go upstairs and burn her hair and stuff. And I burn her hair. Crazy how that works. And then I'm going in the office. I grab the thing. And then I'm like, can I access the bag? And then I see this piece of paper. It's another letter from the prototype, I believe. No, it's and then I was pressing F to examine it, and you just see me just smash F, and it wasn't working. Yeah, so it's easier to commentate when I'm not fucking playing, but at the same time, I was just like, I was expecting to see someone down there and just walk away and make my life miserable. So, you know, this chapter does a little bit of backtracking, and you have to kind of be like, so I'm kind of getting used to having to go back, and I was like, and then I look out and I'm like, I don't see anything, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna keep it. I'm looking at the cameras to make sure they're not looking at me, because if they can see me, that means the prototype can see me, and that motherfucker, it's wild. And I was like, door's closed. I was like, let's go back. Right. And thankfully, we did get the VHS tape. I do try my best to find this shit, and that's what I kind of look around for, but I missed that last one. I'm kind of pissed. But not to worry. I was like, all right, Terminal 2. Right, and then I'm like, all right, let's go in. We're gonna play as Huggy Wuggy the third time. And this, well, you'll see. This is where I'm like, I get really fucking mad. You'll figure it out. I really wish.
Well, look! All the friends are here! Oh, isn't that amazing? Doesn't that make you want to just dance?
So,
Yeah! Okay, so when you hear the music, you
I go
make
over
your
to like
feet.
see if I can
And
touch
when
these.
the music stops, you make sure you're in the light, okay? Always stay in the light.
So they just like dance and stuff. I'm like sitting there like, what am I supposed to be doing? Because there's no dancing moves and stuff. So basically, you know, and then you're supposed to run to the light. And then I'm like, where's my spot? And I'm like, oh, it's Huggy's spot.
Little guy, you can't just sleep on the floor all day like a lazy bone.
I don't want to be here.
So now you can see where I was starting to...
I don't want to be dead.
I was trying to help the kid and stuff, and I was just like, okay, we're just gonna leave him. And I'm like looking, I'm like, they got vents in here, you know?
Oh, you all are doing so good. Wait till the friends come and play.
I was just kind of like confused what the fuck we were doing and stuff. And then
everyone, isn't this so fun? Isn't this?
I was like, okay.
I guess somebody's out.
No, please, tell me who I am!
Give him a timeout.
Please, don't put me in the box!
Put him in the
Don't
bad
put me in the
toy
box, I'll be good! I'll pray! Don't put me in the box!
This is where I really got completely uncomfortable, and I was trying to drop him for like a minute. And I was like, I don't want to do.
Huggy, please place the toy in the bad
And then I'm
toy
like, in the box? I'm like, well, let me go look at the box. And I was like, I just want to drop the kid. I didn't want to put him in there. And then I was like, I looked at the box and I went, yeah, fuck no, I don't want to put him in there. And you hear the kid get grinded up and hear him scream if you didn't pick that up. And I really started getting mad and shit. I was like, I don't want to fucking do that shit. And I was like, I'm like, okay, we're doing all good, you know, and I'm like thinking, that was fucked up. And you know, the toys are playing and stuff. And I'm like, I fucking hate you for making me do that shit. I was like, can I leave? I'm trying to like try to cause the anger and stuff. And so they go to their spots, right? And then I'm like standing there like, I don't want to do this. So I stand there for a bit thinking something might happen. And then I'm like, we'll stand here for a bit. And then I was like, I'm looking around at the other people and I'm like, I was like, I don't want to grab them and stuff. But yeah. So I was just like, I was kind of like, I don't like that I just put some kid in a grinder. I was kind of upset. I was actually fucking upset. So I kind of touch it and I'm like, okay. You know, we're all dancing, having a good time. And I'm like, you know, you can start to notice they're actually getting tired and stuff. And I'm like, I hope Huggy just gets mad and stuff. And then like, look, they're in their squares. And I'm like, oh, I'm in my thing. Might as well just stand in there.
Seems like our toys here aren't ready to be the joy anyone needs. I guess they're bad toys.
And I said, what the fuck are you talking about?
You know where the bad toys go. Go and put them in the box.
I was saying, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing that shit. They danced.
Huggy, please place the toy in the bad toy box.
I kind of just went like, I'm gonna stand here. I don't want to fucking do that shit. And I was just kind of like, I was basically just ranting about how they were just doing what they were told. Look, they're fucking tired and shit. They're probably not fucking eating. And I was like standing there, I'm like,
Huggy, please place the toy in the bad toy
I was just
box.
kind of like, I said fuck you to her. I'm laughing, but I was like, I just remember just sitting there. I'm like, I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, this is way too uncomfortable and stuff.
Huggy, please place the toy in the bad toy box.
I was kind of sitting there. I'm like, I don't know what. I was sitting there. I was like, guys, I really don't know what to do. I don't want to do this. Like, you can clearly see that you can't clearly see, but you could clearly hear that I really didn't want to do it. And I was like, fine, I'm going to pick the ugliest.
Huggy, please place
I was going to try to wait it out to say, like, maybe we get an alternate ending, but I picked, like, the ugliest toy. And then I was trying to just hold the kid. And I was like, can I let go? I was trying to grab the door. You know, listen to this.
Huggy, please place the toy in the bad toy
You hear the kid getting crushed. And they're like, I didn't want to do it. And I was like, I don't know, it was just kind of like, I was like, I fucking hate that shit. Because I know that's actually a kid. And I know that's I know it's in the game and stuff, but it's like, I was kind of like, they kept dropping more kids and stuff that weren't playing. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, get me out of here. I try to break shit. And they're like, they're crying. And I'm like, I don't want to pick them up. And she's like, oh, put the bad toys in the box, Huggy. So I go stand my thing, right?
Huggy, please place the toy in the bad toy box.
I was like, I don't want to. And I was like, alright, I'll put one in. And then that's where I got angry, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna start breaking shit. Right? Because I'm like thinking, now I got the rate, and I broke the TV. I just started breaking everything. I was just like, I hated this part of this whole part. This really made me mad. I was just breaking shit. I started breaking. And then I was like continuing to break stuff, thinking I accidentally grabbed the kid. And I was like thinking, okay, I'm raging, I'm breaking the stuff. Where's the gas and stuff? And I'm trying to break stuff. And then I'm like, do I have to kill another kid? I killed another kid. And then they just continue to drop them in the fucking room. And I was like sitting there like, you know, I was like, you know, I know this was being made before the list was released and stuff, but I was just like, I'm like this, and then I'm like, all right, just put them in. I wasn't happy that I had to kill fucking kids and stuff. And then the smoke is. I try to keep breaking shit to like cause like the end trigger, and it's like I'm sitting there, I'm like, I know you're behind that fucking glass, you coward. And I said, if I don't get the, I'm like sitting there like, I better. I put another one in, and then I was just like, fine, fuck you, game. And then they put the gas in, and then I'm like, cool. I just start punching the TV. I was just majorly uncomfortable, and I was like, all right, we're just gonna keep going, you know. That was the worst part of this whole the whole episode, and I was deeply disturbed. Yeah, 590774. Can't access the pad. Can't access those doors. And I was like, I need an admin key or some shit. So, yeah, I was not happy. I legit screamed. And then I come in and I'm like, am I supposed to be here? And then I see something fall and I went, oh. That didn't happen when I was in here before. So now I'm like investigating, thinking, oh, there's a thing to like hook up. And I'm like, nope. And I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? So I start looking around for like an entrance, and then I see the door, and then I'm like, can I go, how far can I go back? The doors are locked, can't go any further. So I jump out. Really horrendous shit. And then I'm like thinking, am I back in the same area? And then I get an alert. Black light, and I'm like, where? And then I see it, it's on the wall, it's triangle, right? So, and then I'm like, okay, I'm checking out the door. Check that door. I don't know why I checked that door. It's obviously I can't go in. I'm in here, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, black light. And then it's hexagon. Right? And then I'm like, okay. There's symbols, and then I'm like, oh, a lever. And I'm like, I can't pull the lever. So I'm like, let me, you know, twist the thing and then pull the lever. Right? I twist it, I pulled the lever, and it didn't work. And I was like, did I get the wrong angle? Because you know, this game has the history of I got the wrong angle and stuff. So I'm like thinking, okay, let me explore more. I go upstairs. Oh, I got an alert, but I didn't hear it. There's I go over and I'm like, I'm looking and I'm like, oh, I thought that looked interactable. It is. And I was like, I looked and I went, there's no way I'm making that jump. I kind of wish I attempted the jump, but I didn't. So I go back, right, then the thing goes off. And I'm like, oh, my light's already on. So I'm like, okay, so I'm like, no gas, triangle, star, circle, hexagon. And I'm like thinking, no gas. And I'm like, I'm still exploring. I'm like, oh, can't go in there. Nothing to see there. Right, then I'm like thinking, what are they talking about? And then I'm like, oh, there's the gas. Right, and then I'm like, how am I supposed to... And then I'm like, star? And then I'm like, oh, this is where it kind of clicks in. And I'm like, oh, okay, so there's levers and stuff. And I'm like, can't open the door, right? I heard a sound and I'm like, the fuck is that shit? You'll find out soon enough. I'm not gonna spoil the episode. I get hot, and then I'm like thinking, okay. I'm like, oh, I turned the gas on and burn, right? Yeah, and then I missed my fucking flame opportunity. You saw like I missed it last second. So the gas is on, and then I cook, and then it explodes. And then I was like, what the fuck was the point of that? And then I was like, oh, it caused that explosion. And then I was like, I need my steampunk head. Steampunk hand, right? I'm also just like playing with the fire, right? Just see like, can I? Did you even see me aim for the door? Right? That's why I'm always kind of like double tapping on stuff. And you've seen in the past that I fully just missed stuff. And then the red dust comes in. And then I'm like thinking, do I just burn the gas because it's a gas? And it's flammable. Nope. I was like thinking, oh, I could just burn it, right? And then the gas is still in the room. I can't access the door. And I'm kind of like, okay, that didn't really work out. So I go back to the no gas sign, right? After like, and then I get the notification the second time. And I'm like, where? And I was like, I was about to say, you fucking liar. And then I went, oh, circle. So I go back, right? So I think I was looking it over, and then I went, no gas. And then it finally just clicks in. I'm like, oh, I know what I need to do. So I run downstairs, right? And then I go and I was like, that's hexagon. I'm looking for triangle. Triangle's right there. And so I grab it. Triangle, star, circle, hexagon. I go to star, which is up at the top. It's conveniently like spread apart, but it also is like the last one is next to the lever. Thank the Lord. So that one was done. Right? And then I go to circle. And then this is where I'm like, oh, the last one's in the room with the lever. And I'm like, very clever, very well put together. That's what I kind of like. I'm like trying to think, and I'm like, damn, I really played this game. And then I'm like, I got it. You can press E, but I like grabbing. So I go in, the smoke's gone, right? And then I'm like thinking, oh, let me grab the door. I won't grab the fucking door. And then I'm like, I was like, there's no way they let me climb through the window. And I'm like, shit. I grabbed the data pack. And I'm like thinking, can I break that? No. And I'm like, can I open the door? No. There's no way that's locked, by the way. They just locked it. Like, there's no locking mechanism on those doors. But they're just gonna lock it. So I walk back. I take the shortcut. And then, I get the door. I go over. And I was like, where's the last data chip set? I was like, oh, it's right there. Got me by the door. I was like, alright. And then I accidentally clicked on my character. It happens. Right? And this is where I said, I sat there and I said, I swear if I have to kill a fucking kid again, I might just end the episode right then and there. Right? Because I was really getting like, I was just kind of like sitting there. I was like, I did a deep dive like last night, and it was just like, I was just sitting there. I was like, there's a dude. Right? And so I'm going to one of the...
Oh, this thing. Gomez, this is Lewis.
This is where you learn the code.
1170. Did they change the code to conditioning?
Same code. You just got fat fingers. Happy, disgust, sad, fear, happy.
It's funny that I brute forced that whole door. I'm grabbing another soda. My voice is gonna get dry. So, I don't know what that was, but he puts me in. He actually could manhandle me, which was really crazy. And then I'm like thinking, this looks like some more propaganda bullshit. And I was right.
Hey there, all you lovely lilies. It's a sunny day. I feel warm. Don't you feel warm?
I cussed her out. I called her a fucking bitch.
I feel safe. You
I said, absolutely the fuck not. And then I was like sitting there, and bro,
Hey there, buddy.
I tried grabbing the TV, and I was like, okay. I thought I was gonna rip the TV off, and then I was like, let me rip the. I was like, can I rip the things out?
Buggy, stop.
So I ripped that, right? And I'm like thinking, can I rip the TV? I keep trying to rip the TV off, right? And I lift it, right?
It's getting loose.
And then
I don't want to have to.
And then I'm trying to go berserk, right?
Someone get me back up. Conditioning.
And then I, got myself out. And then I start trying to break the fucking window. Now I can't get out. I'm like, let me break this window, right? And then and I'm like thinking, what the fuck? I'm still trying to grab the TV and rip it out because I'm thinking that's how I escape. It won't grab anymore, even though it has like the indication. And then it kind of grabbed, and then it just never worked. And then then I started looking around. I'm like, is there anything else? The smoke spilling up in the room. And then I'm like, oh, there's a thing. I'm like, there's my exit, right? Wrong. I don't know what the fuck that was for. And I'm like thinking, there's nothing. I'm like, I can't grab anything. Right? So I'm kind of like sitting there, I'm like panicking. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing? I was like, let's fuck this place up. Really talking that shit, right? And then I'm like trying to break the window, which I totally could have fucking broke, right? And then I'm still looking. I'm like, there's nothing to grab there. I'm like thinking I have to go through the vents. It's not really clear what to do. So I'm like trying to grab stuff, right? I'm kind of like, what else am I supposed to break? And I'm like, oh, a thing. And I grab it and it breaks. And then the smoke kind of stops. I think I spent like a minute trying to figure out this shit. I tried grabbing the handle because because it still shows that I can still grab it, but it's not indicating. Right? If you were gonna patch that, just make sure I can't grab it next time. Make it look like I can't grab. It kind of looked like I could grab something off the ground, and I'm like thinking, do I have to do that? I'm looking at that, and then I was like thinking, I'm like, I've grabbed everything. I'm just waiting at this rate, and I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? And then I was like thinking, the door? And then I started grabbing, right? And then I'm like, oh. And I start trying to break the window and stuff. I grab this one, I break this window and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I get to kill him. This is why I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna kill these fucking animals. You wanna treat me like shit, motherfucker? I'ma fuck you up. And I'm like, yeah, let me get him. I was so fucking excited. I was like, I get to rip these people apart. I saw what you did to the kids. And then I go, let me kill him. And, it cuts off, and I'm like... And now, that's when I started feeling a little bit better, because I get to get some form of revenge. And then my 590-774, right? Like I said. And then I'm like, I try to press F on it. Right, and then I'm like... And then, there's a couple times where it just, it just cuts to this. And I'm like thinking, what the fuck is this shit? That's where I'm like, do I pause? Because I need to go pee. And then I'm like, shit. And then I tried going for this thing. And I'm like, I'm trying to break it. And then he... And I was kind of complaining. I was like, what the fuck was I supposed to do? We still need you. Get up. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking trying here. I think I died like twice to this shit because I was like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? So I start walking forward and I'm like trying to, thinking it's the vent, right? And I'm like trying to break it. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm dead. We're almost to the end. That's what you said in part 3. So, I was kind of frustrated. I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. So I said, once if I run a little bit forward to the next one, and I was like, okay. And then this one opens. And then I'm running, and I'm like, what if it look like turn around? I'm like, oh, fuck no. So then I'm like, all right, we're running. And I was like, they're making me run a fucking marathon again. And then I'm like, I'm kind of winging it, honestly. I've really winged it on the running, but it always comes to a part where it's like, oh, I'm going to need the hand. And then I fall out, right? And then he comes down. And I'm like thinking, what's going to come to my rescue? Because I'm dead. And then it's the stupid sign thing. And he's looking at Kissy Missy, right? And then he just smashes the fucking wall. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, damn, I gotta go pee. This is not a good place to pause. And I'm looking at the door and stuff. And I'm like thinking, what are we doing? He's just chilling, right? And then I'm like thinking, and then I'm like, oh, he can see me. He runs on all fours, and I'm like running. I'm like, I don't know what to do. But I'm running around like trying to figure out. And then he got I try to juke him and shit, and I'm like this, and then I'm like trying to find a spot to, and then I hit the play button, right? And he and I'm like trying to get the other power buttons going, right? Because I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then I'm like thinking, how long do I have him? Is he just stuck there? And I'm like thinking, cool. It wouldn't let me type in the code. I think it was 8 something. I never got it, by the way. I'm just gonna tell you now, I didn't get that shit. And I was like thinking, okay, we're gonna go and get that. And then the things turn green again. And I'm like thinking, oh, he's on the move. And then I was like thinking, I powered that up, and then it turned to be a thing. And then I was like thinking, okay, he runs in, and I run away, and then I'm like, oh, I don't trap him. I'm still kind of like, I don't know what to do. And I'm kind of going to the door, and I'm like, I need to open this. And I see the battery packs, and I said, where the fuck are those? Right? And I'm like thinking, I'm cooked. Genuinely cooked. Right? I'm looking around, and then he broke the thing, right? And I'm like thinking, there's another one, right? Do I die here? And then I hit the thing, right? And then he starts charging, then he goes into the thing. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I'm looking at these things, right? I'm trying to figure out what the fuck to do. So I'm like, I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't see these battery packs anywhere. I go in here and I look and I'm like, oh shit, there's a battery pack. I pick it up and then I'm like, this is where I come in saying earlier in the episode where I'm like, if I have to drag this shit during a boss fight, I'm gonna be pissed. And then I'm like sitting there like looking, I'm like, okay, he doesn't see me. And then I go ahead. I hear he screams and I'm like looking, I'm like, oh, I see it. And then I ran out. His hand went through the fucking thing. Is this where he Tokyo Drifts kills me? There's a part where he like, and then I got him, right? I do die like one more time after this, I'll be honest with you. You're an hour in. You could probably just skim through it anyway and check, oh, did he die again? I wasn't even scared. I was more annoyed to get this shit going. Right? And I'm like thinking, I got one. And I'm like, where the fuck is the rest of them? And I'm like thinking, I don't see any. I don't even see the thing up on the fucking ceiling. I'm like looking around and I'm like confused as fuck. Right? And now he's like, and then I'm like, okay, let's go this way. And I'm like looking, right? I hit the thing, right? Just in case. I hear him scream. I hit this thing. And then I was like, was like, is he after me and shit? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, where the fuck's the battery pack? And then I think I bump into him. Yeah, I bump into him. He sees me, does the scream to charge, right? And I hit another thing, and I'm like, trying to look. I'm like, where is he? He Tokyo drift that fucking corner, bro. I was so heated. Shit. I was like, it was like, I was so pissed. And I was like, where am I gonna start off again? And then, so, I was like thinking, I was like sitting there, I'm like, okay. I'm like thinking, I have to do all that shit again. Right, I hit that, right, I hide here, and I see what I need to grab. And then, I was like thinking, I guess, I was like, oh, I took when you saw me hit the menu system real quick, I went bathroom. I had to take a major piss. Because because you sit there and you drink a lot of fluids, and then, you know, and then I'm trying to figure out, what do I need to do? Right, I'm trying to hit all these remotes and stuff. And I'm like, fuck. So, you know, he's running, and then, you know, he's like, la 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 la, and I'm like sitting there like, I don't know what to do. And then I see that, I'm like, whoa, what is that? And I go up, and I'm like, yo, now I have a legit hiding spot from him. And then I'm like, I found another battery. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, okay, this is where I went. I fucking hate this mechanic. Whoever came up with that, fuck you. Right? And then I was like sitting there like, I was getting ready. And then I was like, where is he? I was like, he's right there. I drag this off, and it clicks on, right? We have two. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for the one I hear him, right? And then I'm like sitting there like, pull, 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 and then I'm like, and then I'm sitting there, I'm like, just sit in the corner. Right, and then I'm gonna wait for him to break that wall. So this gives me time to go look around for a different one. And then I'm like, it has to be in this door. I said, how the fuck do I get in there? I didn't even look at the vent. Right, I'm like thinking, I'm just kind of put in this zone. I'm like, yo, if I fuck up, I have to re-pull all those batteries to the terminals again. And I'm like thinking, there's a thing. He broke the thing, and then I go up here. This is where I start to hide in the whole fucking thing, because he actually can't reach you from here. Which was really nice, but at the same time, I was kind of like, oh my lord. It was just, I was like, okay, we're gonna go down. I swear, gain that. He actually looks in, and I was like saying that, like, I just put him in distraction because he already saw me, right? Because he can't see you through the hallways and stuff, which I'll find later. And then I'm like thinking, if I run out, this is where I start going like, this is fucking bullshit. And I said, I'm just gonna drag it behind me and pray that the game just like locks in for me, right? You see how I'm not looking at it? And then I'm like trying to get there, and I'm like, okay, let's see how. I'm like, we're good. And I'm like stuck, and I'm like, this is where I got really fucking mad. I was like, got stuck on a corner like that, especially a round corner. I had to ditch it because I don't know where the fuck he is. He's actually. I got lucky here. I was like, where the fuck is he? And I'm like thinking, like you hear his footsteps, but you don't know where the fuck he is. Yeah. And then I was like thinking, So sometimes he just randomly screams, and I really fucking didn't like that mechanic. So I'm kind of doing the game of, we can't let him see me because there's no way to get away from him and shit. And then I'm like thinking, this will have to be my only bet. And then, I backed the fuck up like he actually saw me and shit. So I'm waiting for him to, like, you know, go there and shit. And then when he's stuck there looking, I'm thinking, he doesn't do it to every hallway, right? But he's still looking for me and shit. And then I said, we're gonna wait for him to do a lap, because I'm scared as fuck if he sees me and shit. Yeah, so sometimes he'll just randomly... And this is like the creepiest shit. And I said, who patched him? I just started touching him. I'm like, who patched you up? That's my question. I think he's 10 feet tall, but I'm only going based off off my analysis of looking at other humans who are very fucking tall. You know, I'm looking at you, Netherlands. Oh, I'm sorry, Scandinavians, Vikings. So I'm waiting for him to turn the corner, right? And then I can see him sniffing, and I'm like, what fucking nose does he have? So I start pulling, right? And I'm like making sure it pulls. And so I'm basically just making a gun for it, right? And then it goes, and I'm like, cool, cool. And I'm like looking around the corner, and I'm like trying to think, like, I almost shit myself, honestly. I'm like, you don't see me. I'm trying to look, and I'm like, where am I? What am I supposed to do? So I'm waiting for it to go so I can just like have a look around here. And then I crouch and shit, you know, just to look around. Because I'm scared. I'm honestly scared because now I have like 2 of them done. I'm looking, and then I'm like, did I hit the thing? I did. And then I'm like, there's no vent. And then I'm like, oh, there's a vent on the ground. Because I was looking for an upward vent. I hit my flashlight. This vents look disgusting. My friend does HVAC. He would... I sit there and like hook up, and I'm like, oh, this is horrible. I just slight panic like he's in the vent with me, right? Because you know he can go in vents with you. And then I'm like, secret, and I'm like, nothing. So I open the thing, I go down, right? And then I grab my collectible, right? And then I see the battery. And this is the funniest part of the fucking thing. For like 2 minutes, I'm stuck in this room because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait for him to go by, right? So I crouch and I look under. It's like 8 ... And I'm like, that must be the code to the thing, but I don't care. Wait a second, I just realized some girl healed his hand and he wrote it, and it was written on the board. Please tell me I go look at the board again. I think that's why he got that. That's who fixed his hand. Yeah, I'm a little closer to my mic now, so it's gonna be... So I'm sitting there waiting for this motherfucker to walk fucking past the damn fucking door and shit. But what happened was he changed his pattern of where he was walking. So instead of walking clockwise, he starts doing counterclockwise. But you'll see that in a couple minutes because I don't know how to keep a commentary without spoiling. Seeing the face on the hand is just a mood. Like, there's a happy face, and then there's my current mood. I'm like, where the fuck is he? I'm like looking out the windows and shit. And I'm like thinking it shouldn't take him so long to do a fucking lap and shit. I'm like looking. I'm trying to see him, and I'm like, I can hear him, but I can't see him. And then, is this the part where he walks by? I'm not sure, right? I'm still looking. I'm like trying to fucking see him and shit. I'm trying to like try to wait for him to walk past. And then I saw him, and I was like, so he's walking the fucking other way? And you know, I just start laying out the cuss words. I'm like, this is fucking stupid and shit. I don't like this mechanic. You know, it's not too hard, but also it's like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, really, game? You're gonna make me do the batteries with 2-hand pull? And so I'm waiting for him to see if he goes past there and shit. And then I'm like thinking, he should be going that way. And then I see him walk that way and stuff, right? And I'm like thinking, I'm good to go. But I didn't notice that he actually turned around and started walking towards my fucking direction. I go and turn the corner. I shit myself. I'm like, I like reach over, slingshot up, and I'm like, this is the most annoying shit. I'm like, okay, the battery's right there. And so I'm waiting for his ass to fucking go, right? So he's going the opposite way now, which is really fucking annoying. I don't know what causes him to go the other way and stuff, but it's probably because I went in the room and they're like, all right, he's in the room. Now, Huggy, you're going to walk in a circle. Yeah, I think Huggy Wuggy is like 10 feet tall. Yeah, that's like 10 feet. Because I've seen 8.9, which is 8'11 in person, and he's way taller than that. Actually, I'll Google search this right now. How tall is Huggy Wuggy? I'm saying 10 feet. He's 18 feet tall? I was way the fuck off. And then, I dragged the battery. It clicks in. Actually, no, it doesn't. I panic because I'm like, he's right there. I was like thinking, I was like, sitting there. He hits the door like a fucking child. They say, oh, he's obedient and stuff. And I'm like sitting there like, Huggy is pissed. He does not give a fuck. Right? Imagine Huggy could talk. Huggy's more of like a 3-year-old toddler, right? That's what I look at. I'm like, he went, I pull it, because, and it clicks, and then the door's going, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, I'm making a run for it. I think there was supposed to be like a cutscene of him running at you and stuff, and then I'm spawned into this theme park, and I'm like thinking, do I go back? And I'm like, I was really confused because there was just like, you're just there now. And I'm like looking around, and I'm like, okay. I'm like in Wonderland and some bullshit. And then you hear laughter, and I'm like sitting there like, oh fuck, now we're gonna deal with her, because now you saw her shadow, right? And I'm like, I'm looking around, and I'm like a car. I'm like, can I drive? And I'm like trying to get it all going, and I'm like, oh, I need power and shit. Yeah, need power. No steering handle. And I'm like looking around for a way to get power. I see it. Get my steampunk hand out. And then, because, I gotta lose the master control hand. And then, flip back to yellow. And then I go in, start it up. And then I'm like thinking, we're gonna go on a ride! So, yeah. We're getting to the last bit of this episode. Now, as of recording this audio, I have not played after this gameplay, because I'm not gonna do that and then have to re-record this shit, because then I'm gonna spoil the next episode. So I'm like touching the balloons, and I'm like, my one weakness. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, Huggy. It's like Huggy / Catnap. I go in, I see a VHS tape, and I'm like, cool. Right? And I'm like, yeah, I got one. And I go down, and I'm like, and then I'm like stuck, and I was like, make me crouch and shit. And then I see a collectible, and then I was like, okay, we're good, get out of here. Right? And then I'm like thinking, ooh, a secret. Let's see what mysteries we get, guys. Spoiler alert, there's nothing. So I'm like thinking, oh, I need the electricity for the car. And I'm like thinking, where the fuck is it? I don't see anything at the gate. And then I'm like, how did I miss it? Right? Funny how I can't jump a fucking curve in this game. But you expect me to run from monstrous toys. And then I see the electrical thing, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I do it, and then I just get out of here. I'm like, click. And then, boom. And then, yay, we get the keys. What was that? No, I didn't see that before when I played. I was like, go back. I was like, the shaders looked like something was there when it wasn't. And then you see these balloons. I almost thought it was Huggy for a second. I was like, oh no. And then it's popping, and I'm like, what the fuck is this car made out of? Spikes? I thought it was weird. So I should keep the volume up a little bit. I was like, I've had it low the whole time. So I'm gonna have it a little bit higher up. You hear laughter, and I'm like looking around for her, and I'm like, alright, we're just gonna I was like sitting there like, there's nothing else. I didn't really see anything, and I was just kind of like, all right, let's just continue going. I don't know why I gotta do that shit. And then I'm like, all right, let's go. The door opens. You know, I'm like thinking, that was like the shortest stop, and I was like thinking, I was like, how much? I was like, they're really not carrying the juice over. The balloons are kind of funny. And then there's a big fucking huggy wuggy. And then it's catnap. Right? So I'm like, I almost panicked for a second when I'm like, my mouse drops for a second. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, we're in some like fucking theme park and shit. And this is where I was like, why the fuck is this place so big? Right? So, and then there's like, oh, find a way past the gate. And I'm like saying that, can I push it? Can I steampunk it? And stuff. And I'm like thinking, I don't see anything. But now I know what to see, right? I'm looking around for like something to use and stuff. I was like, steampunk hand, push it open. Right? I'm like sitting there like, I don't really, I can't climb any fucking thing. And I see an apple and I'm like, I was like, yo, can I use this? No. And I'm like, how am I supposed to let this thing go? And then it pops like a balloon. And then I'm like, what the fuck? So I was like, is there something on the... I kind of was like, what the fuck? So I go back and then I'm like, oh.
Hi, I'm Lily Lovegrave, the girl with flair and out-of-this-world hair. Join me for a slumber party and we can braid each other's hair.
And I said, imagine becoming a toy and you look the most human-like. That's fucked. I see the magnet thing. I remember the magnet thing from last episode. And I'm looking around. I hear her, but I don't see her. That's because she's like looking at me and stuff. And then I grab the thing, right? And then I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, there's a way to get this. I did not find a TV. I probably missed it. And then I hit the thing. And then I crashed through it. And then I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh, there's like a whole fucking park and stuff. And I said, where the fuck is this space to have all this shit? And I'm like, continue going? I'm like, no, alright, I'm gonna continue on without her. And then...
Oh, my goodness! I don't think they're here for the party, Lily. Well, of course they are, Candy. Why else would they be here? We're going to have so much fun!
And I was like, oh, she is psycho. Right? So, this is where, I was just kind of like, okay, I'm here.
They smell like dead bodies. Well, that's not a nice thing to say.
This is where I'm
Candy.
like, can I just walk away?
What's a nicer way to tell a friend that they smell like gore? Maybe we could ask if they want to take a bubble bath? Now? No. We have to set up for the party.
And I'm like thinking, can I?
Can you be a good toy and bring me the crumpets from the oven in the basement?
I was like, okay. And I was like thinking, and then I looked at the time and I was like looking, I was like, okay, there's a thing. I turn it, there's fire. I was like, we're in a living dollhouse. And I was like, see? I was just playing and shit. And then I was like, can I get this? And I was like, okay. And then I see the hook, and then I was like, it's Kissy! And
It's you.
Poppy.
You're alive.
Somehow. Main character syndrome or something.
I know saying I'm sorry won't mean much to you at this point, but I am sorry for running away, for not letting you leave at the game station, for everything. I thought if we could just get the orphans out. We tried to cross Sweet Street. I didn't know she was still here after all this time. If you can help us get out, maybe find a lever or a key, anything.
And then I was just like, this is where I was just like, all right, guys. I was like sitting there like, are we in a new loading section? And we were. So, anyway, guys, this is about as the end of the video it is. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. God bless you all. Sorry that the audio is kind of fucked up for this Let's Play, but I'm trying to make it right. Please forgive me. And as always, that outro, it's now.